Each and every Monday is $9 Monday at both wagertalk.com and sportsmemo.com, when all daily picks packages are priced at only $9, including 5% best bets, normally priced at $35. As an added bonus, any picks packages loaded early for Overnight Tuesday or action during the week will also be priced at $9 until midnight on Monday. So make sure to take advantage of getting these $25 and $35 picks for only $9 before the clock strikes 12 and they return to regular price.
Hey guys, welcome in on a very happy Monday to you now as we get ready to say goodbye to February and we welcome in the madness that is March right around the corner. But we do have, it's officially started. Conference tournament season is here in some spots around the country, and we've got a couple of games tonight in college hoops. We're going to break down for you, see if we can't find a couple of edges that we like. And we are going to do it with three of our favorites at Wager Talk and SportsMemo.com as we welcome back in R1L Steve Merrill in the house, as is Mr. Finn, they call him. I don't know, anybody calls him that. Tony Finn actually in the house, as well as the mid-major god, mid-major Matt Joseph's in the house over at SportsMemo.com. Gentlemen, can't believe February is almost gone here. Madness is almost upon us. Couple of final regular season games this week for some of these power conferences, but for the most part, hey, mid-major season tournament time is here, Merrill. For a $9 Monday, did you see anything that stuck out to you here tonight over on your page?
Yes, I did. And as you know, Joe, well, first of all, it's conference tournament. In honor of mid-major, Matt, I wore my CAA sweatshirt today. CAA gets started on Friday. I'll actually be on the Friday episode, so maybe I will talk about the Hampton Monmouth 12 versus 13 play-in game. No, mid-major Matt will be tuning in for that info. But as you know, I don't believe in $9 Monday. I think it should be $4.50 Monday. Rob Vino and I have talked often about that, and therefore I made a 2-for-1 special. $9 each, or get them both for $9 and make it $4.50 Monday. Two strong best bets. And don't forget about the free plays. Got a free play in your Baylor-Oklahoma State Cowboy game, Joe Ranieri. Free plays on a quiet 75% run since the end of January. Best bets have been number one in the NBA this year. Hitting on all cylinders. Steve Merrill, wagertalk.com.
I am fairly certain that the three of us can put up more points than Oklahoma State can. Tony Finn, what is going on, my man? Welcome in here. You've got NBA action tonight. You've got some college hoops. Did anything stick out to you that's available over at Wager Talk?
I wish I could say I did. I have a couple games that I've beaten around the badminton net here in Las Vegas for tonight. I made a decision on one. It'll be up as soon as the show's over. NBA, I find it a little bit more aesthetically pleasing right now than college. But that said, that's what March Madness is all about. I can't hardly believe it's already March, Joe. But here we are, and I'm glad it's here.
Crazy. It really is when you think about it. Mid-major Matt Joseph, SportsMemo.com. I know you love this time of year here. We got a lot of the mid-major conferences getting ready for tournament time here. ASUN tonight, I believe. Couple of games rolling. How about you over at SportsMemo.com? Do you have anything locked, loaded, ready to roll for us?
There was only one play I liked today. It was obviously not the best card for that stuff. A lot of the stuff I liked in the MEAC has already moved a lot. So I have one play. I'm going to give it out in the show as my best bet. But yeah, just finished putting together a video on the ASUN tournament. So I'll look for that in my Twitter feed shortly.
All right, guys. Awesome stuff here. We do have a couple of shall we say, some of the big conferences, regular season games coming to an end. One tonight going to be in a Big 12. We'll focus on Iowa State as they are now laying 5 against West Virginia that came so close to upending Kansas, but it just wasn't meant to be. 134 is the total, 9 o'clock Eastern time tip, and Iowa State lately can't buy a win here. 3-game losing streak, I believe, here. And now they got to take on a West Virginia team that they're only 5-11 in the Big 12, Merrill, but man, they got a lot of wins. What is those so-called quadrant 1 wins working in their favor this year? So it's certainly not a do or die spot for them for making the tournament, but who do you give the edge to in this one?
Yeah, it's crazy to think a 16-13 team, who, by the way, I think will be 16-14 after tonight and is 4-9, most likely 4-10 on the road tonight, is locked into the tournament. So we'll see how that plays out. They do have Kansas State on deck in their home finale. As you mentioned, Joe, a tough near miss at Kansas, losing by just 2, and they haven't been a good road team. Almost pulled that upset. I do think this is a tough spot. Second road game in 3 nights for a team that's not good on the road. And there's also other reasons to like Iowa State here. First of all, they've got revenge. It's something we always look at with quality teams. I do think Iowa State's a quality team, 17-11, 13-2 at home, strong home court with revenge, and it's a last home game spot. So it'll be a focus spot here. So really good revenge spot for Iowa State. And I also like the matchup. Iowa State's one of the slowest half-court teams in the country. West Virginia in the upper third as far as fast-paced teams, up-tempo. Not a good matchup here. West Virginia got them on their home court by 5 earlier this year, but I don't think history repeats itself. I like Iowa State in this one.
All right, he's liking Iowa State to get it done at home here. Tony Finn, are you a believer in this Iowa State team getting it done at home here?
Well, I always have been. I think the Hilton magic is real, but this has been a team that's kind of disappointed me as in recent games. West Virginia under Huggy Bear, always tough. This is a difficult matchup, I think, for an Iowa State team, even at the Hilton. West Virginia, they are who they are. They've always been under Huggy Bear, a physical team. This one's a little different in the fact that they don't seem competitive at times on the road. Now, they were very competitive in that Kansas game, albeit a surprise. They were late. They were down by almost double digits late, and they made a couple buckets, made it appear to be really close. But for the most part in that game, Kansas controlled it from start to finish. Iowa State, all of a sudden, this is a good defensive club. All of a sudden, they can't seem to defend without fouling. And this is a team, West Virginia, you don't want to foul. They go to the line. That's really how they won. And the first matchup between these two. Again, this is going to come down to execution. Who's going to defend a better, really, in the paint, at the rim? And when it comes to Iowa State at Hilton, with the line being basically a pick 'em, I'm going to have to lean with the home team.
Leaning with the home team here. That's 2 for Iowa State there, mid-major Matt. You know how this works. If you pick Iowa State, we are running to the window here to back West Virginia. So tell me, where are you leaning in this one, Matty?
I kind of do lean to West Virginia just a little bit. I mean, obviously it's something I'm not going to play, and it's a bit of a concern that they're coming off the game at Kansas. But I mean, it's just kind of, West Virginia's been a pest so far this season. It feels like in a lot of these games, losing by 4 at TCU and losing by 1 at Oklahoma. And I think Tony touched on it. The fact that West Virginia is going to be able to get to the line against Iowa State. It's actually in both directions. West Virginia is 338th in defensive fouling, essentially, and Iowa State is 334th. So you could see both of these teams try and take advantage of that situation. If you get the right officials tonight, the over might be worth a look. Now, the problem is if you get the wrong officials, these two offenses will make your eyes bleed, it feels like. And so the over would certainly be a tough thing to take. But there's a lot of points here. I think it's almost in West Virginia range because I think getting to the free throw line will help them equalize in this situation.
Yeah, it's going to be intriguing here. Big 12 on focus here tonight. Can they break that 3-game losing streak? Iowa State get one in the win column on the home court. We shall see, though. We're seeing 5s across the board here, guys. 9 o'clock Eastern time tip on that one. We are going to switch gears, and we're going to talk about a different matchup here tonight. In the Big Sky, how about Eastern Washington laying 2 now against Montana State? I believe the total in this one, 144.5. And let's see, the Bobcats of Montana State, I believe they just won. They beat Portland State over the weekend there. And yet, boy, oh boy, look at that. They couldn't win every game, Eastern Washington, although they tried to. They had that crazy winning streak busted up here in their last game. I believe it was Idaho State, 71-63. They lost. But now here we go. Opportunity and a revenge spot, no less. I feel like we just saw this at one point. What do we do here? Merrill, Eastern Washington been real good in this spot here all year long. They did just lose a game finally. Is that a good thing or a bad thing here?
Well, the fact is they haven't lost at home yet. If I'm not mistaken, Joe, I think they're still 11-0 at home, though. Mm-hmm. As you said, that was at Idaho State. So they do have an undefeated home record. This is their last game of the regular season, last home game, undefeated home court. And as you mentioned, with revenge. And then on top of that, Montana State is coming off their last home game on Saturday. Now they travel with just 1 day's rest after beating Portland State at home. So I think this is a great setup for Eastern Washington, the basic straight-up win situation. They did win the earlier meeting, so they don't have revenge here. I misspoke here. They won by 3 at Montana State. And what was interesting about that game is that Montana State took 30 3-point shots at home. They were just 9 for 30%. You're like, well, they shot better, they'd win, but that's not normally their game. In fact, on the season, they averaged just 19 3-point attempts against teams that permit 21. Eastern Washington gives up a ton of threes. They give up 26 3 attempts a game. Once again, the league average is just 21. So basically what that tells me is that Eastern Washington was able to dictate the way the game played and made Montana State take more threes. And they only had 30% because, once again, that's not their game. So now at home, laying the short number, I think they're going to be able to dictate the game once again. Last home game, undefeated home court. Wish there was revenge, and then it would be a really good setup. But I still like the situation for Eastern Washington to win and cover.
All right, Eastern Washington to win here at a small number at home. I believe it was an 18-game winning streak there, Tony Finn. It was kind of obnoxious, but they did finally lose on the road back home here. What do you think we're getting tonight?
Well, I really agree with Steve here. I like Eastern Washington in this spot, despite the fact that Montana State's played well recently. Tonight they're aiming for their 5th in a row, I believe. Look at their last game. They scored 91 points, made almost 50% of their field goals, 60 from the 3 line. Bealo, Battle, and Brown, all double figures. Tough trio, really, as far as points go. But again, Eastern Washington at home, always this is a team that you see that in people that aren't real familiar, maybe just Weekend Warriors guys that see Eastern Washington pop up every once in a while with an upset or an impressive outing. They have while they're not one of the Power 6 rich tradition programs, this is a Big Sky team that really always comes to play. And I think that happens again tonight. I think that they're going to protect home court in the game. Again, this should be competitive. They've struggled defensively a little bit recently, especially giving up over 70 a game, which is unusual, I think, for this team. And I think if they get up 71, I think if they play just an average defensive game or at least hold their own on the stop side of the court, they come out the winners.
All right, good stuff there. Another one for Eastern Washington. Matt, are you a believer, a little home cooking here tonight, or do you have some doubts?
I liked Montana State at +3. I thought that there was some value there because if you look at this, the last couple of games between these two, they've all been close. Last year, Montana State nearly won at Eastern Washington, and Montana State has the veterans. I think the biggest thing that concerns me here is, as everybody mentioned, Eastern Washington coming off a loss. And if they were continuing on, it would almost be like a sleepwalking effort. There's nothing at stake here. Eastern Washington's locked up the 1. Montana State has locked up the 2. So that's another thing that kind of throws into, like, obviously you're going to get a good effort, early on. Is Eastern Washington the type of coach that will play his seniors and just kind of let them, go out there and play early on? We don't know that. Some coaches do that sort of thing since this game doesn't matter. But I do like Montana State. I think Montana State could win this conference tournament here. But certainly, I think at 3, there was a little bit more value. Now you're getting down to 2, and there's some 1.5s out there. So I think that value kind of went away on Montana State. But that team's for real. And Eastern Washington hasn't exactly been playing great as of late.
Well, I mean, to your point, it was 3. It ain't 3 anymore. So somebody is betting Montana State here, as that line has dropped from the open. Should be a good one here tonight for the Big Sky. We do have one more game on tap we're going to break down for you, and the MEAC it is we're heading to with North Carolina Central. Winners of 5 straight, trying to make it 6 straight here, I believe. Laying the 3 against the MEAC #1 team right there, right? Norfolk State, who's got a pretty good streak of their own here. They've won 7 of their last 8. They're tied for the top spot with Howard, in fact. So, I don't know, Matt, I'm coming back to you here, man. Guide us down this MEAC path here. Who should we be looking at here?
I mean, I love this matchup, and obviously it's not one that's on necessarily people's radars, but it's 2 really good coaches who probably should be elsewhere because they've done such good work at their own universities. And certainly you look at Norfolk State, their offense is one of the best in the conference. Their defense is one of the best in the conference. They've had some shaky production away from home, lost a game at Morgan State, a team they probably should have won on the road, but a lot of veterans on this Norfolk State team. I don't think they're going to be rattled very much, and we've seen this line kind of go all over the place, it feels like. It went up, and then it went down, and it's now at 3 in a lot of places. I think there's some value at Norfolk State on the road here. I think they're a veteran bunch who won't necessarily get intimidated by a very tough place to play in NC Central. But I think that, these are 2 of the better teams in the MEAC, and certainly it always helps Norfolk State that this tournament is played at scope, so they get a lot of the home court advantage for that one.
Yeah, I mean, on paper, it looks like a couple of pretty even teams here, Merrill. And what do we do with this situation here? Are we looking to take the points, or are we looking to lay the points here?
Yeah, this game's just right down the road from both Matt Joseph's and me here in the state of Virginia. And Norfolk State won the game on January 30th. So we do have another situation here. We have a strong home court, last home game revenge situation. So although this isn't a conference I'm normally handicapping in the regular season, because there is such a low level of play at the bottom, these are 2 of the better teams. So I think we can handicap this like we would a Power 5. And NC Central 11-1 straight up at home this year. Last home game on the season. They're on the road, by the way, later this week on Thursday for a road game. And they also have 6-point revenge from losing at Norfolk State back on January 30th. So last home game, strong home court with revenge. This is the type of setup I like to look for. And by the way, one other thing I'll point out about this is that Norfolk State's been very fortunate this season. We look at the luck index factor from KenPom. Once again, not a handicapping factor I use much because it's basically straight up win situations only. But once again, this is a competitively priced game at -3. Norfolk State is the 15th luckiest team out of 363 this year. North Carolina Central, just 327th. They've been very unlucky. So I think there's some value for several reasons with North Carolina Central laying the -3 at home tonight.
All right, laying the 3 at home with the favorite here, and they've been really good at home too as well. They're Finn, I believe 12-1 on their home court here. So what do we do tonight? Experience? Does it win out here like mid-major Matt suggested?
Very well could be the case. I mean, it's been mentioned here by both of my esteemed colleagues. North Carolina Central been very consistent on both the dichotomies of being home and away. However, they've been much better at home. They're a team that gave up 16. Basically, they allowed 16 plus points fewer per game at home than they did away, and that's significant. Maybe not so much in conference or tournament play. All depends on the venue, et cetera, et cetera. They haven't been very good offensively recently, despite being good at home. Norfolk State, in their last 6 road games, for instance, they've been okay, kind of iffy. 3-1-2 ATS, 0-4-1 against the spread in the last 5 games, though, against teams with a winning record. In this game, rather than going to a side, I probably would be leaning to points scored here. If you look at Norfolk State, for instance, they're 7-0 in their last 7 road games to the over. And in this case, it's a little bit of a contrary to what I just described about North Carolina Central. However, in this game, I'm probably going to lean to experience, just like they've been mentioned so far. Give me the experience club late in a season and games that are pretty important.
All right, good stuff there, guys. 3 games on the card here tonight. Not a tremendous card, but opportunities here as the final couple of regular season games going to get underway. Couple of conference tournaments underway here. Let's see if there is a game on this card these guys like a little bit more than the rest. It's best bet time here. And Matt, mid-major Matt over at sportsmemo.com. You mentioned a couple of these games got out of control, from the market perspective. Tell me which game you like a little bit more than the rest here.
So I'm playing Florida State tonight. It's a team that I played a lot a couple of weeks ago, and then they started playing poorly, so I got away from them, and now I'm back on them. And I think there are a couple of things here. First off, obviously some people will say, well, they expended a lot of energy at Miami. They're not going to be ready for this one. Traditionally, before this season, Florida State has been a very tough place to play. You look at, this season, obviously they have a ton of losses at home, and it's been kind of a lost season, but this is a wicked sandwich for North Carolina. The emotional victory at home against Virginia, and then, that Duke team is coming up next. And I understand that they're going to win, and most likely they are going to win this game, but North Carolina struggles hitting threes. Florida State struggles defending threes. The one thing that does concern me for this play is Florida State, despite all the size they have, is a horrendous rebounding team, which I never understand because usually Larry Hamilton teams are really good rebounding the basketball. But it's a lot of points. It's a lot of points here for a very live home court advantage, a very good head coach, and a North Carolina team that could be sitting there saying, well, we beat Virginia. We got Duke next. This game doesn't mean as much. So give me Florida State +8 tonight. I'm hoping that North Carolina is a little fat and happy after their win on Saturday.
All right. Looking for FSU to get it done here tonight against North Carolina at home, the final home game for Florida State. How about it there, Tony Finn? Which game did you circle for us here on the show?
We're going to go out west, out here at least close to me, here in the Mojave, and that's a Weber State game. I like Weber State over in Northern Arizona. This, despite the fact that I like Jalen Cone, and he's been leading Northern Arizona scoring with almost 17, scoring over 20 in many of their efforts this season. Xavier Fuller, a good player too, there in Northern Arizona. The problem here is that Northern Arizona doesn't know how to spell defense. They've been very porous defending their rim, defending their paint, defending the lines, you name it. They've difficult time defending, period. If you look at their numbers, just their basic stats, 74 points a game. That's 289th in the nation. Opponents shooting almost 47% from the field, 35% from the three line. Those numbers aren't crazy, at least crazy seemingly, if you just glance at them. But look at the rankings, 324th, 224th, respectively, and what I just mentioned. The Lumberjacks offense, can they keep up? Can they keep pace with Northern Arizona? I think they can. I like the Weber State tonight, minus, or at least should I say plus the small number on the road.
All right, there you go, Weber State. And I'm buying it there, North Arizona. So that too going to be an intriguing matchup. And Merrill, how about you? You mentioned a couple of best bets for $9 Monday over on your page. Is there a game here that you have for the show that you like a little more than the rest?
Two strong best bets for Monday night. One in the NBA, one in college hoops. Normally they're each $9 because it's $9 Monday, but you can get both for $9. That's $4.50 Monday because I have a 2-for-1 special $9 combo, NBA and college hoops. Don't forget, NBA ranked number 1 this year in 2023 at wagertalk.com. College hoops has been top 2 to 3 all season as well. Don't miss out. A 2-for-1 special for just $9. Tremendous discount. Wagertalk.com. I also have a bonus play in the Baylor-Oklahoma State game, and those free plays on my page have gone 18-6, 75% since the end of January. So check that out. And the reason I mentioned that free play, I'm going to give you a different one here for the show, a free over-under play on the late night card at 10 o'clock Eastern. Last game on the regular rotation. Let's take a look at Sacramento State and Portland State over 143. Now, Sacramento State's one of the 10 slowest teams in the country. Portland State is one of the 20 fastest teams in the country. So if we can guess which one can dictate tempo here, we're going to probably get the total right because you have slow versus fast. And I think it will be a fast-paced game for a few reasons. First of all, Portland State playing at home. I always believe home teams can dictate tempo a little bit better than road teams. It's also the last home game, last regular season game of the season for both of these teams. Last home game, obviously, for Portland State, but last regular season game as well. Nothing really to play for Portland State, who's 13-17, 4-13 on the conference. They're looking forward to next week for the conference tournament. where they can maybe make a Cinderella run. So nothing to prove here. I think this will have a playground mentality. And Portland State is a terrible defensive team. So even though Sacramento State normally plays slow, they will be able to score in this game. Portland State giving up over 47% shooting on the season. Totals in the low 140 range. The first meeting hit 137 at Sacramento State the last day of December. But upon further inspection, should have been a lot higher score. Once again, Portland State, a good offensive team against a terrible defensive team, and they still shot just 39.5% and only scored 63 points. They will score more here at home. Sacramento State will follow. Take Portland State, Sacramento State over 143 at 10 o'clock Eastern tonight on Monday. Don't forget a bonus free play. My official free play for Monday night is in the Baylor-Oklahoma State game on my page at wagertalk.com. 18-6, 75% one of those free plays that I post every day on my page. And more importantly, don't miss two super strong best bets, 2-for-1 special NBA and college combo, $9 Monday, Steve Merrill, wagertalk.com.
All right, intriguing game there, Merrill, as our good friends from thegoldsheet.com. They too have a best bet here they like tonight, and it's in that game. And it is with Portland State laying a couple of points here. And they point out, of course, that Sacramento State, well, this is their third game in 5 nights, all 3, by the way, on the road. We also have a revenge spot here for Portland State. They blew, as Merrill mentioned there, that 15-point lead in the first meeting, while Sacramento State has lost each of its last 7 road games, and that is what they are anticipating will happen again here tonight. As our friends from the Gold Sheet, their play of the day is going to be on Portland State laying that small number here. All right, I won't, Jason, because Oklahoma State's been dead to me now for the better part of a month here. But doesn't mean I won't look at the total in this one here. Keontae George out for Baylor at least until the Big 12 tournament starts. That is a huge, and it cannot go unstated how big a loss that is for Baylor, given the fact that he averages about 16 points a game, and he takes a little over 30% of Baylor's shots when he's on the court. They take a ton of bad shots when he's not on the court. They're going to take another ton of bad shots against one of the better defenses here tonight. If Oklahoma State has any shot at winning this game is staying woefully under the 141.5 that they have posted here now. They are not going to be able to get into a firefight with Baylor. They don't want a firefight with Baylor. I do think this game, just like the first matchup, is going to stay under 141.5 points. And to recap one more time, guys, we've got Sacramento State and Portland State up and over to 143 tonight for Steve Merrill. Tony Finn, Weber State plus that 1.5. Grab it now, while Matt Joseph says Leonard Hamilton, Florida State, going to roll right out of Miami back to Tallahassee and roll North Carolina here. Plus 8 is what he's looking at. I'm going to look at that under in Baylor, Oklahoma State tonight at 141.5, while our friends at the Gold Sheet, well, they like Portland State laying now 3.5 in that game against Sacramento State. And it is $9 Monday, which means if you head over to wagertalk.com, visit Steve Merrill, visit Tony Finn, their best bet's just $9 now. And if you head over to sportsmemo.com, that's where you'll get Mid-Major Matt and his best bets right now, $9, guys. Head on over, visit Matt Josephs over at sportsmemo.com. And, of course, Steve Merrill, Tony Finn, wagertalk.com. Go grab those best bets tonight for just $9. That'll do it for us here. Again, small card, a lot of great matchups again tomorrow as conference tournament week has begun, and we've got you covered here on the College Basketball Tip-Off Show. On behalf of Steve Merrill, Tony Finn, Matt Josephs, we appreciate the time, guys. Best of luck with all the plays tonight. Come back and join us again tomorrow. We'll do it all over. Until then, good luck. We'll see you soon.
How do you like to finish the college basketball season paying under $30 per week? Between now and Selection Sunday on March 12th, there's still tons of regular season college basketball action to go. Plus, all of the conference tournaments and Wager Talk and Sports Memo are announcing their March Madness Bonanza special that will include the rest of the college basketball regular season, conference tournaments, NCAA tournament through the national championship, and any plays released in the NIT or CBI tournaments. That's right, from Monday, February 27th through Monday, April 3rd, there are 5 full weeks of hoops action, which breaks down to under $30 per week. Sign up for this promotion now on your favorite handicapper's homepage and get the rest of the college basketball season through the national championship in Houston on Monday, April 3rd, plus all non-March Madness tourneys, including the NIT and CBI, all for only $149. That's under $5 a day for one of the best betting experiences in sports. Some call March Madness the most exciting time in sports betting, so act fast as the March Madness Bonanza special is only available for a limited time. Grab your favorite college basketball handicapper, or perhaps add 2 or 3 college hoops experts to make this March Madness not only exciting, but also profitable. No coupon is needed. Just head to the homepage of the handicapper of choice and lock the $149 price in now. As the earlier you sign up, the more days you receive.